Alright, so I did this video yesterday on YouTube, but I filmed the wrong screen, so I have to refilm it. So I'm going to do a quick one here because I think this is really important. Today we're going to talk about the 3 stages of your investing that you should be looking at in order. If you are not doing the start, you should be contemplating the finish. The reason we do it like this is to ensure that you aren't risking more than you can afford, because to invest you must take risk. But one of the biggest risks is not being able to take enough risk to get there. And we see this in things like property, where people say it doubles every 10 to 15 years. But if you can't afford to make it to that point where it's going to double, then you're not going to make the money that's worthwhile. Okay. So same with leveraging into crypto, Forex, stocks, whatever it is. You need to make sure that you can afford to take the necessary risk, which might be more risk than you can afford, to get the full benefit out of it. So by doing it this way, we can ensure we lower the risk overall, but increase the risk in the area that we need to increase the risk. So suss this diagram out with me. So we can see down the bottom, we've got stage 1 foundations. Now, this is where you need to start your investment. This one is what's going to take care of our, this investment will take care of our non-negotiable needs. So our survival costs, our minor luxuries, our non-negotiables, right? The things that we really need. And for this, we want to use tried and tested methods, and we want to make sure we're looking at, the low risk, conservative, putting our money at risk in a conservative manner. So we look at using tax effective strategies, stuff like that, via superannuation, dual purpose properties. So this is when I say dual purpose property, we're looking at a property that you can invest, but you could also move into if shit hit the fan. And then core parts of your portfolio as well. So passive funds, long-term index funds, diversified funds. That's what we want to look at for our core portfolio. That'll ensure that our most important and necessary needs are looked after with the highest chance of success. Then after that, we've got stage 2, and this is now that our non-negotiables and our basic necessities are looked after and our survival stuff, then we want to level up, right? Now we want to start looking to, how do we get the bigger house? How do we get the cars, the watches, earlier retirement? How do we go bigger? How do we level up? And this is where we start using, we get a bit more risky, bit more longer, higher returned investments. So we look at stuff in the emerging markets, so micro caps, small businesses that are going to take off. We look at sector specific investments. So we might know that, say for example, China, is real cheap at the moment. So maybe you want to take a gamble and jump in there, but we still want to use investments that have fundamental analysis that we can use, right? They're not complete speculation. But they're a bit longer term, and they've got a bit more risk versus reward. Business ventures, buying a franchise or doing something on the side, that's a bit of a side point to this as well. So this whole next part is making sure that, okay, well, now our worst case scenarios are looked after. Let's try and go to the next level and live big. Then finally, once you've got your foundation, so your necessities and your survival costs sorted, and then you've moved up and you're looking after leveling up and going a bit bigger, if there's money left over, this is where you can go to stage 3, which is the specky stage, the speculation stage, right? So this is where you can speculate and gamble with money that you can afford to lose, and if it takes off, you might become a billionaire. But the problem is, and we use stuff like, we can gamble, we can use crypto, Forex, go through IPOs, private equity, speculation investments, anything comes under that sort of category, right? The problem is, the majority of you people, this is the only spot you invest in. So when it goes belly up, because you take too much risk reward, you've got nothing to fall back on. You need to make sure that you're doing the other 2 first to ensure you can maximize this top one, not have to sell out of something too early, i.e. we can always hodl, right? So you need to make sure that if you are not doing this bottom stage fail 1, you are not in the position to go to stage 3. So make sure you're doing it in order. It's the best way to achieve.